In terms of anchor placement for direction that you're going to cast, like we talked about, and this doesn't matter whether I'm casting off my upstream shoulder or downstream shoulder.
Uh-huh.
So if I do a double spey, and let's say I only want to cast, I don't know, 15 degrees, 20 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I want my anchor here, right? If the direction I'm going to cast is here, I'm going to have my anchor and my D-loop opposite that.
Gotcha.
180 degree opposite. So I've got to have my anchor basically here.
Mm-hmm.
Where normally I'd bring my anchor up to maybe here to cast more across the river.
Gotcha.
So in order to do that, I'm going to come here and leave my anchor further downstream, come around,
Oop, my bad.
and there.
Gotcha.
If I want to cast more, I mean, just take this to extreme, and see I want to cast to almost 150 degrees upstream, okay? I'm going to have to bring my anchor way up, come around, boom.
And what are you basing your anchor on? Is just your fly, or are you using your...
What I think about in terms of reference point for my anchors is the junction
Okay.
of the head and the sink tip.
Okay,
so
perfect.
This point here.
Okay.
Okay. So if I'm casting directly across the river, making here what would be at about a 90-degree change, I want that junction to be right dead set in front of me.
So basically, wherever you're going to aim your body, that's where you want to have that junction, sort of, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's easier to see it when you're 90 degrees. Okay.
Yep.
When I'm casting kind of extreme up here, of course that junction is way out here in front of me, right?
Gotcha.
And if I'm casting very tight in, that junction is way down below me.
Gotcha.
So in those cases, I'm really just thinking about, okay, where do I want my cast? Where do I want the alignment of my anchor and my D-loop to get the direction I'm going to cast? And where do I need to place my anchor to get it there?
Gotcha.
Because you pull these anchors into position, right? And that's why in a lot of cases with beginners, they want to cast across the river,
Yep.
but maybe they didn't get the anchor far enough up. Their anchor is too far down and they're trying to cast over here and it ain't working.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, so when you start to understand it more, you might think you want to cast across the river, but if your anchor's down here, guess what? You better be casting that way.
Sure.
And take a swing there, or redo it and throw it back down and redo
Sure.
it, set up again. So the anchor gives you the direction you're going to cast. Real narrow anchor. There. Again, kind of the extreme. I want to cast way upstream.
Yep.
My anchor way up. There's 180 degrees. Just in making that cast, and the reason it'll go out is because the anchor's in the right spot.
Sure.
And because your anchor and your D-loop and the direction you want to cast are all in alignment. And that's the same whether it's a double spey or a snap cast. Just kind of this direction, starting with it coming. If I want a snap cast and I want to narrow, put the anchor again downstream.
Yep.
If I want a snap cast and I want it very wide, I didn't get it up far enough. You got to put it way upstream. There.
Oops, sorry, that was me.
And then I can make that, 150 degree change.
So for brand new people, probably the best place to start is your anchor. I mean, because I think that's almost like the last place people think, right? I mean, almost,
It is.
Yeah.
Because
they're thinking like, what did I just do wrong? And it's like, because for me, I noticed when I started casting a little better was when I actually paid attention to the anchor and where I was aiming and all that kind of stuff.
You got to be, I'm watching the anchor on every cast. Okay, and you have to, because it gives you the timing for when you're going to go with your forward cast. If you're not watching it, you got no clue.
Sure.
Right? You're just hoping, poking. But if you watching your anchor, you know when that is. But the other thing is you've got to watch your anchor for one, it's safety if you're a beginner. Right? If I'm coming in here and I'm making my double spey, I'm casting across the river, and I come there and my anchor's upstream of me.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm gonna have body piercings, right?
Sure.
So that's the aboard, the big flashing red. If your fly is here in front of you, it's more of the caution, right? And then if you've got it in the right spot, somewhere downstream of you, you're green and go.
Sure.
But you got to be paying attention to that anchor.
Gotcha.
I mean, even as a beginner.
Sure.
I think it's the most important part of the cast, you know, for safety as well as for efficiency of the cast.
Definitely.
So, and once you get, you know, you've paid attention to it enough, you can start where you start seeing the anchor out of your peripheral vision. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, bead eyes direct onto it. You
Sure.
just start seeing it out of your peripheral vision and kind of knowing where it is.
Yeah, you probably get a little muscle memory too, as far as relative to how much you're pulling it out of the water, possibly, and.
Well, but that, I mean, you're right. You get that experience, but it all changes, right? It changes with the current speed.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It changes with the fly you've got on. It changes with the sink tip you've got on. It changes with the wind. I mean, all these variables kind of change that.
Sure.
Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
You gain more experience. And you just, you know, you don't have any heartburn if it doesn't work. Like there, it didn't come up. Just take it back and throw it back down and, you know, bring it back up again. Bang. And if you're having people that are just having a hell of a time, you know, you gave them the wrong fly and it's all wrapped with a bunch of rabbit and the thing and coming out of the water, you know, have them just roll it up to the surface.
Yeah.
There, and then come in and make it. Set it across the river. So the anchor is critically important. One of the common anchor faults that you see, and it can be for a couple of reasons, is oftentimes if you leave your anchor too far downstream, see where my junction is?
Mm-hmm.
It's about a rod tip away, and I come around, I end up with what they call that bloody L.
Yep.
And that bloody L will just rob energy from your cast. Because the line is peeling up off the water this way like it wants to, and then all of a sudden it's having to bring it up sideways.
Sure.
And it just kills the energy in your cast. So that's one way of having the bloody L's if you got the anchor too far downstream of you. The other way to get the bloody L's, I've got my anchor, that's a little too far up. I've got my anchor in the right spot at the placement here, but I come around real weak there.
Mm-hmm.
There I've got a bloody L.
Yep.
And again, it's gonna rob energy of the cast. And you can, sitting from the bank, you can tell if they've got a bloody L or not without seeing it in the water.
Yeah, just kind of the way it kind of.
Well, watch the loop as it unfolds over there. And when I'm gonna pull a bloody L here down to the right, and what you'll see is this loop, it unrolls, is you'll see it kick off to the left.
Gotcha.
So I'm just gonna get a good bloody L in here. So I'm just gonna cast through this.
Okay. Yep.
And you see it does these things, and then if you really get it right, it'll just kick. It'll kick off to the left if you've got a bloody L to the right, and it'll kick off to the right if you got a bloody L to the left. So you can, you know, start looking at the loop and start seeing what your students are doing. No bloody L there.
Yep.
And it's just like it's going out, and then it's just a slight kick off to the right.
Gotcha.
So that's a sure sign that you get bloody L's. And you can cast through bloody L's, but it just takes an awful lot of energy to do it. You know, and a couple hours of this, guys, with your clients, and they're going to be on their neck and their shoulder,
Sure.
and they're going to be hurting, and they're casting with the top hand only
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. So they're not as efficient with their power application. They come back, they don't have a good D-loop, and then they, you know, cast with bloody L's. And they do that for a couple, 2-3 hours, and they're going to be hurting.
Man, that Spey's fun, but I just.
So bloody L, having the anchor too far downstream, sure sign of a bloody L. Also, not having enough energy in your D-loop.